everybody. So it is time for our hottest and coldest team video, just like every Saturday, where we look at the 5 hottest and 5 coldest teams currently right now in the NHL. This is always a lot of fun to do, to see who's playing really well and who is not. And we are getting down to the last few weeks of the season, which means it will be the last few of these videos as well. So hopefully you guys have been enjoying these every Saturday all year long. Before we begin, I just ask that you please subscribe and hit that thumbs up if you haven't. It helps the channel an absolute ton and is greatly, greatly appreciated. But let's get into it. And you guys know I like to start with the positive first. So we will look at the hottest teams in the NHL right now. Starting at number 5 with the Florida Panthers, who are 7-2-1 in their last 10 games. They've won 2 in a row. And Florida's great season has continued as they are right up there near the top of the Central Division and have been significantly better this year than I thought they were going to be, and I think that most people thought they were going to be. They've had a phenomenal year, and they continue to play really, really well. They are going to be a tough out in the playoffs, that is for sure. And I've been really, really impressed with them. Now, there were a lot of teams with 7 wins in their last 10, so narrowing this list down to 5 was tough. There were some very good teams left off this list, but I decided that Florida, with their 7 wins in 10 and their 2-game winning streak, comes in at number 5. At number 4, we have the Minnesota Wild, who are 7-1-2 in their last 10. They got an OT loss against the Blues the last time out, and they've actually lost their last 2 games, both against St. Louis. So they've been struggling with the Blues a little bit, but before that, they were absolutely on fire. And their record in their last 10 games is still phenomenal. Only 1 regulation loss. It came Wednesday night. And they're still playing really good hockey, and they're locked into the playoffs, so they're definitely a playoff team. And Minnesota's another team like Florida that has been way better than I thought they were going to be this year, and they deserve a lot of credit for that. Speaking of the St. Louis Blues, they come in at number 3. St. Louis is 7-3-0 in their last 10 games, but they are on a 4-game winning streak, which is one of the longer winning streaks in the NHL right now, active, and they've been playing great, trying to secure that 4th playoff spot in the West. There was definitely some points during the season that there was some doubt as to whether or not St. Louis would get in, but with their recent run of play here over the last couple of weeks, and especially with this 4-game winning streak, they have not locked themselves in, but put themselves in a position where they are getting close to securing that 4th spot in the West, and it does look like St. Louis is going to be going to the playoffs this year. Number 2, the Boston Bruins, 8-2-0 in their last 10 games. They've won 2 in a row after losing a couple, but then they had a 6-game winning streak before that. These are the first 10 games that Boston has played since the trade deadline, when they added Taylor Hall and added Mike Riley and added Curtis Lazar. And to say that those deals are working out would certainly be an understatement, as they have won 8 out of the 10 games since, and those guys have all been playing spectacular for Boston as well. Bruins have really gotten it together here post-trade deadline, finally starting to look like the team that they're supposed to be, and they have been winning a lot. So, really, really good run here for Boston. It is setting them up to be close to securing a playoff spot. Obviously, not locked in yet, but they are getting there. They're also possibly capable of catching the New York Islanders, who are ahead of them for the 3rd spot in the East. So a team that was, looking like they were going to finish 4th or 5th guaranteed has a shot at 3 now, but looks like they're going to finish 4th at the bare minimum, barring some sort of late season complete collapse, like losing the rest of their games or something like that. Boston is in good shape now after this recent run. And finally, that brings us to number 1, the hottest team in the NHL right now. It is the Vegas Golden Knights. Now, they had won 10 in a row and were on a 10-game winning streak. We're 10-0-0 in their last 10 up until last night. They lost to the Arizona Coyotes last night. not a great loss there for the Golden Knights to take. However, they are still 9-1-0 in their last 10 games. They're still playing great hockey. They're still first place in the West Division. And clearly, with winning 9 out of 10, they are the hottest team in the league. They are the only team that has won 9 out of their last 10 games, and they are not going to let one loss stop them. And they are right back at it again tonight against the same Coyotes team. I have a feeling the score might be a little different this time around. I don't see Vegas dropping 2 in a row. This team is still on fire. This team is still very, very good. And anytime you win 9 out of 10, you're going to be on this list, to say the least. So those are the hottest teams in the NHL right now: Florida, Minnesota, St. Louis, Boston, and Vegas. Now we have to take a look over to the other side of things and look at the coldest teams. The coldest teams in the NHL, starting at number 5 with the Buffalo Sabres, who are 3-6-1 in their last 10 games. They've lost 3 in a row. Obviously, things had been going a little bit better for Buffalo recently. The last month or so, they've certainly been a tougher opponent. They've certainly won a lot more games than they were earlier in the year, and they were playing hard and they were picking up some wins, but obviously, at the end of the day, they're still the Buffalo Sabres in 2021, and they're still one of the bottom teams in the league, and they've only won 3 of their last 10. They've lost 3 straight, and it's Buffalo, so it's not exactly surprising. Next at number 4 are the Vancouver Canucks, who are also 3-6-1 in their last 10, and they have lost 3 straight. And this was a team that before these last 3 games really was kind of still in it because of all the games in hand that they had to possibly make a push for the playoffs, especially with Montreal not winning and Calgary struggling at times. It was like Vancouver wasn't completely out of it. Now, with 3 straight losses, they're kind of out of it. I don't think they're mathematically eliminated yet, but they're not going to make the playoffs. And this recent stretch has pretty much knocked off any of those chances. Again, just 3 wins in their last 10. They're not really making up any room in the standings. They're not making up any points, and that's pretty much going to do it for Vancouver's season. Next at number 3, we have the Winnipeg Jets, and this was a team that at one point was competing for first place in the North Division. Now they have the longest active losing streak in the NHL at 6 games. They are just 3-7-0 in their last 10. They've been passed by Edmonton for second place, and it's been a really bad couple of weeks for the Winnipeg Jets. These last 2 weeks have not been good. They have not been able to win any games. And they're really, really struggling right now. Luckily, I think they have a big enough cushion over Montreal for 4th spot where I think they're going to stay in 3rd. However, it looks like they're going to be finishing 3rd now, and Edmonton is going to go on and take 2nd place in the division, while obviously Toronto looks poised to win it. And Winnipeg, I don't know what's going on here, but their recent stretch has not been good. They've obviously got some guys out with injury, but every team is dealing with injuries at this point in the season, and that is not really a valid excuse. So the Jets have got to get it together, or they're going to be limping into the playoffs. At number 2, we have the San Jose Sharks, who are 2-7-1 in their last 10. They lost their last game out last night against Colorado. And this season, about what we expected from San Jose. Very inconsistent. They did have some times where they were looking decent, but at other times they've been really, really bad. This recent stretch, last 10 games, they have not been good. And San Jose is definitely not going to be a playoff team this year. And that brings us to number 1. This was easy for me. The Columbus Blue Jackets with just 1 win in their last 10 games. Now, it did come in their last game out, so they do have a W1 streak. But they are still 1-7-2 in their last 10. And the abysmal, disastrous, horrible, whatever you want to call it, season for the Blue Jackets continues, and they have dropped down to the point where they might just straight up finish last in that division, even behind Detroit. And there's a chance that they're going to be going for, a top 3 pick. They're probably going to be getting a top 3 pick in this year's draft, or at least there's certainly top 5, possibly top 3, depending on how the lottery goes. So, yeah, not good for the Blue Jackets, and I think they are just kind of waiting to get this season over with. So, those are your coldest teams in the NHL: Buffalo, Vancouver, Winnipeg, San Jose, and Columbus. So, there you go, everybody. Your hottest and coldest teams currently in the NHL. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like, comment, share, subscribe, follow on social media. All those links are down in the description. If you'd like to further support the channel, the links to our Patreon merchandise store, donation links, and channel memberships are down in the description as well. Keep spreading the word about this channel. Let's keep this thing growing. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Talk to you guys soon.